Hello and welcome to this week's Habitat Chat. We have a great topic for you today. If you're not familiar with our Habitat Chat series, this is where I break down things on the smartboard. I do seminars every year and I just realized, man, guys love this format, so we decided to do it on a bigger level, and that's why we do the Habitat Chat. So what I end up doing is I do a shorter version here for social media, but then I really go in depth on a longer version on our website at magnetoutdoors.com. So if you want to see more about the topic we're talking about today, which is, if you aren't doing this, you're missing out. We're going to talk about nurse crops. And it's amazing to me the amount of guys who don't do this or have never even heard of it. So I said, you know what? We're going to have a chat where we just break it down what a nurse crop is and what the advantages are, and there are many, to planting nurse crops. Okay, if anybody knows me, what it all comes down to is I like to kill deer, right? And that's a big reason that I plant nurse crops. Last year, we had an unbelievable drought in Northwest PA. In 20 years of planting food plots, it was the worst. We had 30 days of no rain. And our blend Sidekick, which is our nurse crop blend, which is oats and winter wheat, it saved our season. We ended up having one of our best seasons ever. My dad shot his biggest buck ever, and then I shot a real stud 8-point with a bunch of kickers, 5.5-year-old deer. Both shot on a Sidekick food plot with we used as a nurse crop, and it saved our season. We planted it with one of our Brassica blends, and the Brassicas didn't really grow just because it was too dry. But you'll see we still got, this is my dad's buck. You know, right before he shot it, this is his biggest buck ever, just a great Pennsylvania buck. You can see how green the field is, right? The Brassicas didn't grow, but man, the winter wheat and the oats, they saved our season. We had the best food in town. So when it comes to planting nurse crops, number one for me is killing deer, attracting deer and killing deer. What is a nurse crop? So I'm going to break this down a little bit. We'll pull up the board. A nurse crop, really, when they say that, what they're talking about is, I'll plant it anytime I plant like our Founders North Premium Clover and Chicory blend. I'll plant it with straight Brassica blends. I probably wouldn't plant our nurse crop of Sidekick with a blend like Trifecta because there's already oats and winter wheat in it. But anything that doesn't have oats and winter wheat in it, I'll plant it as a nurse crop. And really what it does, you can see this is an example. Here's your oats and winter wheat, right? These that look like grasses. That's your oats and winter wheat. And then down below here, this is your clover. This is your perennial blend. And what this does is, your perennial blend is slower establishing. Those oats and those winter wheat, it's going to shoot up, give that clover a chance to establish, and also you're giving the deer the groceries, right? Now you're giving them a great perennial blend as well as that attraction of oats and winter wheat. And I really like oats and winter wheat. I'm going to talk more about why we do oats and winter wheat. You see a lot of the leading brands, they do just a straight oats product for their nurse crop. And we like the winter wheat because what we noticed in all of our testing and all of our years of planting food plots, oats are great, extremely attractive. But what always ends up, inevitably ends up happening, the oats start to burn out like that second week of October. And we said, you know what, why not add winter wheat to this blend? It's going to give added attraction all year long into the winter months. And man, it's just been fantastic. So that's why we feel our nurse crop blend is the best out there. But that explains a nurse crop in general. It's about planting a blend. It's going to shoot up. It's going to take that browse pressure off that establishing, perennial blend underneath. Take that browse pressure off. Also add added attraction to your food plot. Oh. Gotta get out here. Sidekick, I already talked to you a little bit about this. We're super excited about it. As far as we know, I think we're the first company. A lot of companies have a blend or a seed that they recommend for their nurse crops, but I think we're the first ones to go out, kind of like you saw when we did the OG frost seed. We're the first ones to really go out and develop it specifically for frost seeding. Well, it was the same thing with Sidekick. We really developed it specifically for planting nurse crops. And I'm going to talk more about it in the longer session. So if you're interested in hearing more about Sidekick and all the elements that went into it, the testing, how it works better than everything else, come to magnetoutdoors.com after this talk, and I'm going to really break it down. Why plant nurse crops? I already talked about that a little bit before, but as you can see here again, it's going to take off the browse pressure. It's going to let that whatever crop you're planting, it's going to give it time to establish. And it's what it is. It's exactly what it says. It's a nurse crop to really help that perennial blend or whatever blend it is, help it establish, take that browse pressure off. And lastly, and I think most importantly, is it adds diversity to your food plots. You hear me talk all the time. Give them the groceries. Give them more. Why just give them a perennial blend? Let's give them, some oats and winter wheat is in there as well. And I talked about it earlier. I don't think of this a lot of times. It's like, yeah, I like that. My clover's always going to grow. Well, last year, nothing grew, with the drought, but my oats and winter wheat did, and it really saved our season. So, man, it's added insurance. If you're going to have a bad year, it usually germinates really well, but it provides great diversity in your food plots as well as unbelievable attraction. Okay, so that's the short version. I'm going to break this down a lot more. I'm going to tell you seeding rates, how to plant a nurse crop, what the steps are. I'm going to break that down on our website at magnetoutdoors.com. But before I do that, if you're looking, I've been doing property consulting for 6 years, helping guys take their property to the next level. If you're interested in having me come and implement the things that you hear me talking about here on your property, I encourage you to reach out. My phone number is 717-304-2770, or you can email me at jason@magnetoutdoors.com. And like I said before, you can see all the habitat chats are available. You go to our website, magnetoutdoors.com, click on habitat chat, and you'll see all of them. This one will be right at the top. It'll say nurse crops right at the top. So if you want to watch more, I'm going to really break it down and explain to you how to do it, what the seeding rates are, all that kind of stuff, really break down our Sidekick product. Also, in the longer version, I'm going to talk about a really good special we're having for our listeners as well. So if you want to find out about the good specials that we're running, go to magnetoutdoors.com, click on Habitat Chat, and watch the nurse crop episode. Okay, if you're still here or joining us, you came from the video you saw on our social. This is going to be the longer version where I really break down nurse crops, exactly step by step, how to plant them. Then I'm going to talk about our product, Sidekick, a little bit more in depth at the end. So nurse crops, really, really easy to plant. Very, very simple. So I'm going to break it down on exactly how to plant nurse crops. First of all, I'd say, what blends do you plant nurse crops with? I 100% of the time will plant a nurse crop with any perennial blend, like our Founders North, which is our clover and chicory. I'll plant it with that. I will also plant it anytime I'm planting a blend that doesn't have winter wheat or oats in it. So for instance, trifecta would not be something that I would use because it has brassicas, winter wheat, and oats already in it. So we're not going to do that. But a blend like Brassica Binge North, I will absolutely plant a nurse crop of Sidekick with winter wheat and oats. So that's how I look at it. That's what I plant my nurse crops with. And we're going to go and I'm going to break down exactly how you plant a nurse crop. Step one. Now I'm assuming you've soil sampled, you've limed, you've come in and you either did a spray and got a good kill of weeds, or you see buckwheat over here. I'm disking with the Great Plains disc over here. I'm chisel plowing with the Coons Engineering chisel plow. Whatever you do to prepare your soil, you can absolutely drill Sidekick. If you have a drill, like we have a Great Plains drill, and we're going to be drilling a bunch of Sidekick. So whatever you're doing, step one is to prepare the soil. Or drill your seed. So very simple, not really anything that most guys aren't already doing. Step two, we're going to seed our Sidekick, our oats, or whatever our nurse crop is. We're going to seed it into that seed bed. And with our Sidekick, when you use Sidekick as a nurse crop, right? Now, Sidekick is great. You can do these as standalone. You can plant a plot of oats and winter wheat easy and have a great food plot. But when you're doing it as a nurse crop, you don't go with a full seeding rate of what you would for a new plot. So we recommend, our bags are 20-pound bags. That's a bag for a half-acre nurse crop. And if you wanted to do a full seeding, if you wanted to do a half-acre of just winter wheats and oats, you would double that. You would do 40 pounds. So when you're going that rate, and you have to be careful with this. You don't want to overseed because it's a nurse crop. You don't want it to crowd out what you're trying to nurse. So just pay attention to that. Pay attention to your seeding rates, how much you're putting on each plot. But we recommend 20 pounds for a half acre for a nurse crop. Step three, after you seed your nurse crop, your Sidekick, your winter wheat, your oats, whatever it is, we like to lightly drag it. It's a bigger seed. We like to bury it a little. It's going to protect it, from birds and different things like that. So we will always lightly drag that nurse crop. Step 4. Now we're going to simply seed whatever it is we're seeding, whether it's our Founders North, which is our chicory and clover, or maybe it's our Brassicavenge North. We're going to seed it right on top of that food plot, and that's it. Don't drag again. We like to do it. You try and time a rain because you don't want to sit on top like that for a long period of time. But we're just going to seed it right on top. We're not going to drag it again. You do have one other step that I usually do once I'm done with that is I will fertilize. I always fertilize the day that I seed. So after we get that all seeded, we'll put the fertilizer down as well. But really easy to plant nurse crops. It's not hard, so there's no excuse for you guys not to be doing it. All right, so you heard me talk about Sidekick. Again, it comes down to, it's really simple for me. Sidekick literally saved our season last year. It was extremely dry. You can see this over there. My dad shot his biggest buck, and it was standing there, and it was coming into this Sidekick plot, which is winter wheat notes. We used it as a nurse crop with a brassica, but it was so dry, the brassicas didn't really grow. But man, that nurse crop's going to give you that extra added, benefit of if some things aren't going to germinate, a lot of times they will. And again, it's adding diversity to that food plot, just giving those deer more reason to come. And you can see I shot one of my biggest bucks. He was a 5.5-year-old deer that I chased for a couple years, and he too was coming in. Pretty much everything last year because of the drought was in Sidekick, and we had one of the best years we've ever had. So we're running some really good specials. I'd encourage you. We feel strongly that we're the first ones. You'll see a lot of brands recommend their oats products and things like that. We feel like we really took nurse crops to a different level. And like I said, those oats are extremely attractive in the early season, but then as that burns out in October, the winter wheat takes over, and man, it's attractive all the way into the late season. So we really feel like we've taken the idea of the ideal nurse crop to another level. So if you've never tried this, there's a lot of guys that are going to know what I'm talking about. I'd encourage you to try it. If you've never planted a nurse crop, you're missing out, man. Start planting nurse crops. Running a couple great specials right now. Buy 2 Sidekick, get $10 off of Founders, and you get a free soil sample as well. And the other one is buy 3 Founders North or South, and you get 1 free Sidekick. So we're going to be running that for maybe another week or so, couple weeks. So if you're looking at getting a great deal and trying it, I'd encourage you to visit our website at magnetoutdoors.com. Go to the Sidekick page and take advantage of the deal. All right, like I said before, you guys know I've been doing property consulting for like 6 years. You hear me talking about a lot of different concepts on these habitat chats, and if you're interested in taking your property to the next level, if you're serious about it, I'd love an opportunity to come out and see it and give you the plan. So you can call me at 717-304-2770 or email me at jason@magnetoutdoors.com. And lastly, like we always say, for the whole version of every habitat chat, go to magnetoutdoors.com, click on Habitat Chat, and see all of the chats that we have. We have a bunch of good ones, but this one was all about nurse crops and not to be missing out. So want to thank everybody for joining me. It's getting closer and closer to that time where we're all going to be out planting food plots, and I encourage you, if you're looking to have that extra insurance, if we get that drought or whatever it might be, I encourage you to pick up some Sidekick. You're not going to be disappointed.